Hello, everybody, and welcome to Game 3 betwixt SirLinkalot777 and HayfieldBay. My name is Kern. I am joined by the one, the second, the third, and the fourth, and only Walter. How's it going, Walter?
Hello there. It's going well. I'm super hyped for this game. I know both of these runners personally pretty well, so super hyped to see this game.
Yeah, same. So, and you said that you were able to watch both the first matches, right?
Sort of, at least. The general gist, at least.
Yeah, to catch part of it. So, looks like Hayfield won game 1 and then turned on maps and compass shuffle, and then SirLinkalot won that and turned it right back off. So we're down to a normal open mode race again.
Yeah, definitely the game mode we're gonna be seeing the most of in this tourney, since it's the standard game 1 in every best of threes.
Standard, not to be confused with actual standard, which is not the standard.
Yeah, open is the standard.
And standard is not open.
Exactly.
So let's see what we got here. Cade of Hyrule. Quick man. What's Cade of Hyrule?
It's from the new game, I think, Cadence of Hyrule, or Cadence of Hyrule. I don't know. I think that's where it's from.
I see. Oh, we got some select menu wiggling. That makes me think the match countdown is starting.
Yeah, probably want to stop hovering over that delete file for Hayfield.
I feel him though, like, it's paranoid that you're going to hit the A button a little bit too soon. So you'd rather almost delete your file than start early.
I don't know. I mean, you have to click the A button twice to actually start, right? If you just press it once, you can always use the reset.
Yeah, that's true. But if you're on like...
Looks like we're off. No divergence at the beginning. 300 rupees, that's pretty sweet to get before you get to Kakariko. Ooh, looks like... Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, yeah, this is what you were going to say. HayfieldBay coming down to check the island and maybe pick up some bombs?
Yeah, this makes me think that Hayfield might go for just an early Sousher with getting those monies for bombs, or we're saving quitting and maybe just heading straight to Kakariko.
Yeah, it could be Kakariko, maybe escape, bombs escape. So SirLinkalot, meanwhile, passing up the tree pole.
Yeah, make sure to kill a green guard here in the tunnel though, so it could go back out and do it, but this says you're saving Quinn instead.
Oh, this is interesting. Maybe he's planning on doing the tree pole in Lost Woods instead of the one in Hyrule Castle to like save on the time you'd have to drag that sign all the way up a screen north.
Yeah, guess it makes sense. We would have to kill a guard over on the way here though, right? I don't think the kills transit over from the saving quits, right?
They do actually transfer over through saving quits.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I had no idea. That just shows what I know about this game. We got a bow in Lost Woods, so that's a pretty sweet early item. It's the only item you need in order to beat Eastern Palace. Well, not in Logic, but I don't think these runners are going to care too much about Logic.
Yeah, I've never even heard of that. What's Logic?
I don't know. Something that people care about, apparently.
Early lumberjack check from SirLinkalot. Just a cart container.
Yeah, not having any bombs, taking this route kind of makes sense. You get like the tree pull, you can check the hoarders as well. Having the money though, it's not as much of a problem because you can always just buy your bombs. But if you're coming from the north, you would have to like go through the entire village and then back up again. So it's a little bit annoying. Would prefer to have bombs coming in.
Blind space when you see a bottle, and so far that's about it.
Yeah, not the best item, but convenient since we're in Kakariko. We can check the Sekid. We got a map check, got a red crystal in Eastern, pendant in Hera, and use a normal crystal at Desert Palace. Also found a shuffle in Blindside.
Fetch quest number 2. Yeah, that bee actually in that bottle could come in handy if they're thinking about doing like dark rooms in Eastern Palace.
Yeah. Ooh, there's our boots. Lucky runners here, getting to go fast entire game.
And yeah, I don't believe that wall is bonkable. So SirLinkalot is going to have to come back with bombs.
Yeah, only missing the boomerang if it decides to not come back, but I'm guessing it probably will. It's a quick dip. Makes sense that he went for the well if he was gonna gamble for bombs instead of a blindside, because the well is faster to double dip. So I'm guessing since he did that, he's probably gonna double dip it.
And decides to check the back of the brewery first, just in case he does get bombs, and he does. So that means he doesn't have to spend his money on buying bombs. May still choose to do it, but this might just be out of a sense of like, you know, I could buy bombs, have 10, or I might just pick some up on the way in Blind's basement and stuff anyway, so
yeah,
save the money.
Makes sense to me. Also, made sure to free that cuckoo under the pod as well. Very, very nice, considerate person we have here.
Yeah, what a nice guy.
So we're going into the library and we're actually going to be able to get the item. It's a bottle we don't really need anymore, but it's nice to have good safety getting a fairy as well. Especially since we have the mirror, we're not going to have to worry about death warping with fairies. We can use mirror out of our dungeons instead.
Yeah, it probably takes just as long to bonk that off the shelf as it would to like powder an anti-fairy and catch it with a bug net, so might as well grab it. It's still 3 hearts, green mail. You never know what's going to happen in the seed.
And since we got that shovel in Kakariko, we can also get the dig spot out of the way as well. So we're getting some of the fetch quests out in one single trip, which is always nice. Kind of burn, okay, that's interesting.
All right, maybe heading to South Shore now from HayfieldBay, we'll see.
Yeah, either that or Eastern, I would imagine. Looks like we have a South Shore. With the boots, we can set up a water walk in order to get some of the flipper locations, and we also have enough money for Sora, so that could be on the table.
Yeah, a lot of early game money.
Yeah, we can see how Hayfield's route just managed to be a little bit more efficient than SirLink's was. So he has used a tiny bit of an early game lead here, going into the early game.
Yeah, he's gonna have to do some. I was gonna say have to do some bomb Moldorms, but he could use the bow. Might opt to do bombs anyway.
Yeah, could even use that B if you want to, but I
Oh,
think bombs or bows are probably just more efficient here. Shoots the Moldorms from below, which makes it a little bit easier to hit them. Just because I said it, he kept missing. But it makes it a little bit easier to shoot them from below than from the sides. Ooh, there's a lamp. That's Eastern in logic. And the Moon Pearl. Okay, good stuff.
Yeah, early bow, early lamp. I mean, you still have Saha's Closet. Assuming that SirLink follows a similar route here, I think that this is going to be pretty obvious play for both players. Oh, but SirLink going... Oh, could just be buying bombs.
Buy bombs, I think, yeah. Hayfield has to be a little bit careful here. He has a fairy, but I don't think you want to use it quite yet. It's also interesting that, like normally when you shake the dig spot early on, you would save and quit if you're going to South Shore. Oh, actually, SirLink is going to Eastern. But yeah, normally you would like save and quit there. But having the boots and also with those extra seconds from the saving and quit, I wonder if this was just faster, just dashing away there.
Yeah, I mean, you're kind of in that area, so you figure, like, my opponent might have got bombs. I didn't. Let's see if I can't, like, make this mean something for me.
Let's see the water wall coming up here for Hayfield as we shake the back of Central now. Ooh, okay, there's a glove. That's a good find.
Hayfield opting to skip the hobo and the island on the... Oh, he's already seen the item on the island, never mind. So he's just skipping the hobo here.
He might actually go back to the hobo now after checking the... but it looks like he doesn't. But yeah, he wanted to make sure to get the value out of those water walk. I guess he had them in pro, so it didn't have to water walk into the cave anymore.
So SirLinkalot going on. So is going to do this dungeon in the dark. It's going to take, I'm going to imagine, a little bit longer than Hayfield to do it. There's like one dark room that can be really problematic. Oh, do you think a sword is worth 500 rupees, Walter?
I think so. I mean, it's made of plastic, but it's pretty useful nonetheless.
I'd have to agree, like, especially a first sword.
Yeah, especially some extra value when you have the boots as well, because you can use dash through the enemies instead of having to do what SirLink did here, just pause every now and then, every time an opponent just shows up in your face.
Hayfield going for a spin speed, showing off the fact that he has a sword over his opponent.
Yeah, his route is definitely paying off at the moment. He's gonna have a little bit of an Easter time in Eastern as well. So Link has 3 hearts and no lamp, which is actually like no joke in Eastern. That could be a little bit problematic sometimes, but we do have the fairy in case, and we have the a full magic together with the Akina Burnout, so we should be safe.
Yeah, the problematic room is going to be the room with the green Igors in it. Having to pick up that small key in a room full of enemies can be a problem. There are strats that can allow you to do it with just the bow, but yeah, 3 hearts, green mail does make it a lot more difficult.
Yeah, it doesn't leave you with a lot of room for mistakes.
Yeah, and whether or not, SirLinkalot makes it through the room, and unfortunately is going to cost a little bit of time, as HayfieldBay can just, like, ease right through that room, being able to see where he's going. That was a nice fast Stalfos room from SirLinkalot, though.
Yeah, having to take a little bit of damage coming out here. Not going to be able to do the damage boost here, so maybe just use the Akina Burn instead, or picking up some hearts and then do the damage boost.
Nice. That was really good thinking on his feet.
Yeah, looked a little bit scary for a moment when the staff was like right next to him when he had half a heart. But
that is a nice heart piece to pick up, though, right before doing this next dark room. It's got to feel good.
Yeah, for sure. So I would be guessing that SirLinkalot might opt to go for the South Shore after this, like Hayfield did. And Hayfield, I wonder if he's maybe thinking of like Death Mountain or something like that.
That was like a textbook dark room. Well done from SirLinkalot. No sword either makes that a little bit more difficult to see where you're going, but you can kick up dust if you have to. Really, the biggest boss in that room is that final pot. You can see him struggling with it there a little bit. Sometimes it's hard to find in the dark.
Yeah, if you sometimes you can get stuck on the torch, or sometimes you just like don't come from the right angle. Ooh, nice use of the Kino Burn there, just making a quick kill out of those popos.
Yeah, really thinking on his feet.
Didn't quite get the quick kill, but good enough, I would say.
And Hayfield showing us just how different this room can be when you can see where you're going.
It was easier, but not as impressive.
That's true. And we all know that's the real point of this game.
Yeah, for sure. You think people learn hovering because it's fun?
Or it wins them games? No. They learn it because it's impressive.
Of course.
SirLinkalot coming back to cover what we've already seen from Hayfield, so it's going to be playing a little bit of catch up here, and I think at the end we'll be like a minute or two behind if they do indeed do this entire Sora domain check.
Something worth noting is SirLink might opt to check the hobo on the way to Sora if they decide to go through flipper checks as well, so that could be a good moment to get like an advantage against Hayfield at the moment. But for Hayfield now, it's we got escape, both the front and the back. The back is really quick to check now that we have gloves. Otherwise, it's pretty much escape. Death Mountain and Aeginas as options for us. Looks like we're going for the back of escape. I guess none of our runners checked Bonk Rocks yet as well.
Yeah, having the boots early and the glove early, it's kind of interesting that hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, it was like this weird option where we got like both boots and shovel in Kakariko, so you had to go like south or north to get that one-off location. You couldn't really get both. I've got a book here finding back of escape.
Yeah, which means that all of book is now all of the book dungeon is now completable.
That is true. We can complete the book dungeon, which is a crystal instead of the that's a rough hit for SirLink, but he's gonna be revived here from the fairy.
Thank fairy. Thank Christos. And finds a green potion in the back of escape. So now, to remind me, did we find the map already?
Not that I can remember, but it's quite possible that I forgot.
So either 2 or 3 items left.
And Hayfield is gonna beeline for that book dungeon, which makes sense, I think, because it's a crystal and you can clear everything in that area as of this moment.
Yeah, I mean, and also there's Aegina, right? Like, they're really getting down there in checks. I think another thing that could be happening here is Hayfield thinking it is quite possible that this is an Aghanim required seed. And if that's the case, then saving those escape checks for when I have to go do Aga anyway is just efficient.
I like that. That's one of my favorite things to do in this early game mode. And also, Aegina is just like a sphere 0 location, so a little bit more likely to have progression than the other checks. 10 arrows is not progression though, but kind of interesting that he went for this before Desert. I think it would have been a little bit faster to do Desert first. Got to see Hobo, not really worth it.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Okay, so 2 out of our 4 locations in the desert area has been letdowns, but we got the ones in the dungeon itself. Here we see Hayfield unlocking it with the book. That's why it's called the book dungeon.
It's interesting that SirLinkalot is fake flippering both to and from Hobo. So it could be that he didn't set up a water walk, but it also, I wasn't watching, unfortunately, but it also could be that he's saving a water walk here in case the Zora ledge is relevant.
Yeah, he's going back in here though, which means if he saved one, it would have been broken.
That's true.
We do have the option, if there was anything on the ledge, to do the Ancilla fake flipper as well, now that we have the bow.
Yeah, relatively.
If I recall, there was nothing on that ledge.
Yeah, I think it was trash. Yeah, just a red rupee.
So we got a blue mail in desert. Nice find, not progression, but definitely nice to have, especially when you're still low on hearts.
I like the change that it makes to the Mega Man sprite. That's pretty cool. So SirLinkalot saving quitting with that sword. Just a PSA, you could see that SirLinkalot was like trying to dodge some rocks in some land. If you touch the land or you bonk against a rock while you're in a water walk, then it will strand you in a location or remove your boots walk at best. However, if you dash against that angled slope right as you're entering that last area of Zora's domain, you can just release your hand off the controller and you dash straight to Zora. So a little PSA there. You don't have to dodge all those things if you just line up on that edge.
So Hayfield decided not to kill Lamolas yet. Might be because he just want to come back later when he has some better equipment to kill Lamolas. But it is a little bit interesting because we don't know if we're gonna come back to that area in terms of if Meyer is required or gonna have that option. But see if that comes back to bite him or not.
Yeah, we'll see if SirLinkalot chooses to do it. Now, I was looking before the match at possible NMG scores, and if they do play NMG, I don't see their times posted anywhere on the speedrun site.
Yeah, I don't think any of them have really done too much NMG, if I can recall, but I could be wrong about that.
I did see a couple of NMG strats that are also kind of common in Rando since they come up a little bit. But yeah, this would be a 100% NMG fight against Landmo if they do decide to take it on, which if you haven't done that Landmo fight in a while, it is very difficult to do that fight optimally with just the bow and a fighter sword.
Yeah, it's arguably the hardest fight to do in NMG, at least doing it fast.
Yeah, so it makes sense if you want to skip it, wait till you get silver arrows or fire rod or something.
And the old man, or as I like to call him, Kern, giving us a Master Sword today. So that is interesting. Maybe this book was just required for Ether Tablet, or maybe that Master Sword is hinting us to Aga.
I'm not that much older than you, Walt.
What are you, 67?
Yeah, close enough.
Okay. Got it. Nailed it.
Oh, chat pointing out, with that Master Sword, Aga is now in Logic, so yikes. But we still do have a few places to check on Death Mountain, plus Landmo items, so maybe we'll get bailed out of having to do Aga here.
Piece of heart on the tablet, so we're heading into a pennant dungeon. Interesting how we got access to beat every single Light World dungeon before Dark World access. Ooh, there's a hook shot. Okay, that gives us a lot more options up on the mountain. And Hayfield? Okay, it looked like he was gonna opt out, but decides to go for it anyways. Okay, now decides to go. Could have done a Harapot there now that we have the hook shot, but it is pendant. We got progression already. Cannot go this way though, Hayfield, because you need a hammer for this. It's gonna be a little bit disappointed here.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like,
You're just following your map tracker at this point. You're like, wait, how do I get over there?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it kind of makes sense. You know, it could be that they don't know the Herapocalypse. I mean, it is relatively new, but it could also be that, like, you know, there's only one item left. It's a pendant dungeon. I might not even be able to get it. Like, it might be in the big chest. So let's fail.
It's probably not worth the time. Or like, maybe just do these East Death Mountain first, and if that is nothing, maybe decides to go back to Hera. It looks like SirLinkalot is heading to Lamolus, and we did find our hammer on East Death Mountain. That is Dark World access. That opens up a lot.
Yeah, Aga is now dead. There is no reason that Aga would be required at this point anymore, unfortunately.
No. You say Aga is dead, but this means we're not gonna have to kill Aga, so he's actually alive.
You know what, Walt?
I feel like I'm about to get punched in the face.
Why I gotta... So now Hayfield has the option, like, how is he going to use that hammer? I mean, the two plays that we see often are either go to that mirror or that Dark World warp near Link's house, or go to Village of Outcasts. Oh, and gets deadrocked out of looking at what this island.
Oh, yeah, that's always a rough one. The deadrocks are just out for him right now. Good thing he picked up that blue man.
SirLinkalot starting with spins here on Landmo.
Yeah, the spins, they do the same amount of damage as the slashes actually on this fight when you have the fighter sword. Just because master sword damage is weird against a lot of the light world bosses. But getting a couple of arrows hits as well, that's the real kicker. That's the one you want to get in.
Ooh, he does get a nice double hit though with that spin. That's one of the reasons you might do a spin.
Mm-hmm. Also, spins pretty much guarantees you're gonna get a hit in. Like sometimes if you're slashing, maybe he's just jumping towards you and you don't get a hit in or something. But that was a pretty good fight. Got a Dark World map check here though. Got a red crystal at Pod and pendants at Skullwoods and Mire. Skullwoods being the green one. So that means we got at least 2 more crystal dungeons we could complete right away for Hayfield if he wants to.
Yeah, that's always nice. That's one of the things that I do like about this. Starting at Hype Cave play, no matter where you go from here, is this your first Dark World access? You can use it to give yourself a little map check and find out where you want to go next. Without really committing to a dungeon quite yet.
Lippers too, so now Swamp is in play as well.
Oh, that's a lot of crystal dungeons that are open. That's not a good sign for SirLinkalot because it means that it turns the seed a little bit more linear. When a lot of crystal dungeons are open, you're pretty much all going to full clear those crystal dungeons. And I think right now, being a little bit behind, he needs some kind of divergence.
Ooh, and this is a nice routing opportunity for Hayfield. Skip the hobo earlier, but now can just do a quick mirror and grab it on the way to Pod instead. So Hayfield is saying we're doing Pod first, which I think kind of makes sense. It's a dungeon that most of the times you're gonna have to like almost full clear it most of the times anyways. There's a lot of items in there, tends to have a lot of value, and it's your second red crystal, so you could even do Pyramid Fairy after this if you want to.
Yeah, that is quite nice. I wonder if he's setting up to do Swamp right after because of that.
Yeah, that would be interesting because just lines up very well to pick up the red bomb after Swamp, and you could do the pyramid check together with the red bomb, and then maybe head up to Catfish.
Yeah, this is a very linear seed so far, which isn't doing SirLinkalot any favors. So I think what you got to hope for if you're a SirLink fan is that we don't find all the progression we need just inside these many crystal dungeons that are open, that we're going to have to start doing a lot more overworld and pendant dives, because SirLink kind of needs to make a little bit of a gamble or some sort of divergence to make up some time here.
Yeah, I mean, they are linear, but the order of doing the crystal dungeons could matter as well.
Oh, that's true. Very good point. Like if Hayfield found Power Gloves here a Titan's Mids here, for instance, and SirLink went Village of Outcasts first, that could make Hayfield check more overworld and lose time there. It's funny, sometimes you think about, well, if you get progression earlier than your opponent, then you're in a better position, but sometimes when it opens up a lot of locations, it can bite you.
Yeah. You want to find the progression that opens up the most, the latest, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So you kind of like bottlenecked into getting the progression.
Go mode like Hammer or, Titan's Mitts is pretty nice.
Yeah.
Versus go mode Ice Rod, can you imagine?
I can imagine. You know what? We actually have that opportunity today because Turtrock is a crystal.
Well, get your com curse pre-typed in chat, everybody.
Something interesting with both of our runners skipping escape is that when we do the big bomb, if that's something we decide to do, we could actually do that together with checking the big bomb, which would be very efficient routing, and especially in long drawn out games, having just efficient routing and not having to double dip back stuff is usually the key of just getting ahead of your opponent.
Yeah, it's a very key sanity move to route in escape with a Pyramid Fairy check because it is so efficient. But we've been seeing a lot of metas in the tournament so far that are a lot more aggressive. So sometimes being super efficient can also bite you as well.
Yeah. When you play a race of 1 versus 1 instead of the qualifier settings we had when we had up to 100 people in the same race, you can afford to be a little bit more aggressive because your opponent might be aggressive as well. So if you skip something, it's quite likely your opponent might do the same.
Yeah, having the opportunity to have raced 2 1v1s against each other so far, I imagine that their routing is, at least partially inspired by what they think their opponent might do.
Yeah, and in the last game, we had maps and compass shuffled, which usually tends to want you to do dungeons a bit more because all the dungeons have 2 extra items in them. So that might speak for SirLinkalot that he might want to he might like that game style of just diving the crystal dungeons you can do and just get that ahead.
All right, looks like SirLink is also going Hype Cave first Darkwold access, so on a very similar route here. But getting that early flippers, I mean, you never know. Maybe it'll lead them to go into Swamp first.
Yeah, that would be an interesting play. That's kind of a gamble that doesn't hurt you too much because it's a crystal. So you're gonna have to do it sooner or later, and yeah, that's a gamble I would actually really like.
Yeah, I think it might depend on how far behind he feels he is, because it, like you say, it's pretty safe. The biggest threat is if you end up having to choose to do left side swamp because there are 2 items there or something. Mm-hmm. It can be really hard to, not check it when you do it as your very first thing in the Dark World.
Yeah, that's fair. Let's see.
Ooh.
Oh, okay. Spicy. We're going for swamp. Can also check the bomb tablet as well.
Oh yeah, good point. Yeah, is this the divergence you wanted, chat?
Okay, so the divergence is real right now. Both of them doing crystal dungeons, so far Hayfield didn't find any progression except for maybe the mushroom in pond, but like worst case scenario, he's walking out of here with a crystal.
Now, we have hypothesized that Hayfield may have been setting up to do like Swamp House immediately after for that 5-6 crystal, but he could just as well go over to Thieves Town and kind of clear some Village of Outcasts as well before doing it.
Yeah, that might be the big thinker for him right now, being like, oh, I wanna do the 5-6 crystals, but when I do that, I want to do Swamp, but I really want to do Thieves Town first because Thieves Town is never really fast in go mode. We have a save and quit. That doesn't tell us too much yet because we don't really have the flute, so we probably would have saved and quit no matter what. But we are going to Link's house, so this kind of looks like either Swamp or Red Bomb play here.
Yep, or both.
Or both. Imagine if you could bring the Red Bomb into dungeons.
If only, man.
Okay, there's a Swamp play. So whatever Sir Link is doing here, Hayfield is gonna get it too. Only question is, are they gonna do left side Swamp?
Yeah, that's another possibility for divergence here that could help SirLinkalot find some time to gain. But there are also like a lot of potential progressive items that are left on the table. There's Fire Rod, Ice Rod, Cane of Samaria, some Mystery Medallion. So there's plenty of room to have to dive into some pendant dungeon still.
Yeah, for sure. We've already seen one progressive item in a pendant, so why not have more of them? So Sir Link is skipping left side for now, which I kind of tend to agree with. Just check the back first, see what you get, and then make a decision afterwards. So there's a map, that means we've got at the very least one item on the left side.
If it's just one, it would be very hard to choose to go to left side escape, or at least it makes the decision more difficult.
Yeah. We haven't seen the big key yet as well. Which means it's either on the left side, big chest, or on Argus. If he gets the big key from Argus, that kind of makes the decision a little bit more likely to go left side, I would say.
Just going for double slashes here. A few different strats you might employ on Argus. This one's really consistent.
Again, unfortunately we don't really have a quick way of taking care of the second phase of Argus, so we might just go with spins for that.
Yeah, it's going to be 4 spins if it comes down to that. Well, it will come down to that.
Yeah, I've been told you can use the bow like normal arrows, but I've never tried it out myself, but someone once told me you could do that, but it sounds super hard in theory.
Are you sure that wasn't just a dream you had?
I'm not sure. Maybe.
Ooh, and Calm
I do
Curse.
tend to dream.
So that big key is If we're looking for divergence, is bad news because this will also push Hayfield to do left side, even if they're considering skipping it. Again, linearity is not good if you're a SirLinkalot fan or just a fan of having a close race in general.
Yeah, but it's not like he's super far behind. You can take some time back in execution as well. But I think both of these runners are really close matched in terms of execution. So in that sense, it's a little bit harder.
Ooh, SirLinkalot just walking right past the big chest.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a question mark, to be honest.
It might be faster with the hook shot to hook to the middle island in the big room and then hook to the big chest. Is that possible?
Not sure. Oh, right, he had to go and grab the key anyways. Okay, I see what you mean.
Yeah, okay.
So if he actually kept on skipping that, it would have actually paid off, but that would have been a very weird gamble to take.
Yeah, it is a strategy to just like skip random items in Randomizer, but not necessarily a good strategy.
Yeah, usually when you skip items, it's because they're very like it takes a long time to check them. When they're just in your face, it's usually not a good idea to skip them.
Yeah, for sure. But showing us that that there was a more efficient way to pick up that big chest, so that was pretty cool to see. And then does a block, a hook, well, not a hook push, that's a different glitch. What is this one called? I can't think right now.
Hook clip?
Hook clip, yeah, there you go, thank you.
Maybe. Block clip? I'm not sure.
It's a hook clip, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that one's pretty cool. Ooh, a medallion on the left side. That could definitely play a role in this game. So we didn't walk out completely empty-handed, potentially. But it's also quite possible that a medallion leads to absolutely nothing.
Yeah, and with that compass in the big chest, there's no way that Hayfield is just going to open up this compass and then mirror out, right? He's going to check left side, so...
Yeah, I think so. Definitely looks like it. Getting our Bombas tablet check, and just a piece of heart. So the book was not very useful. Well, I mean, it could still be the intended way of beating Desert, but except for that.
What is SirLinkalot doing here? He's going back in the portal, so maybe going up checking K45 in that area?
We're going to pod. I think going both either east or west here would have made sense. If he went west, he could have done the entire Smith sequence, well, minus the Smith and the purple chest, on the way to Feastown, or he was going east and heading over to pod instead, and just doing the reverse way of Hayfield doing this and getting that second red crystal.
Nice Kiki dash there from SirLinkalot. Saving a little bit of time there by canceling his dash so that Kiki is closer to the door and the cutscene takes a little bit less time.
Yeah, it's a neat trick, for sure. Same idea that you do with the Maiden in Feastown as well.
Oh, is there a tech that's similar in Feastown?
Yeah, when you dash into the boss room, you want to stop and like look backwards so the Maiden follows you faster into the light.
Oh, Today I learned.
Guess that's way of kicking.
No wonder my Thieves Town splits are so bad in NMG.
Man, here I am helping Kerm, getting even further ahead of my NMG times. Okay, so now we're gonna get to finally see that Pyramid Fairy. Actually kind of excited. Usually don't get to see it this.
Yeah, this is, I mean, like, before you've even gone to Village of Outcasts. I mean, we've already done 2 Crystal Dungeons, which just seems weird, too. Like, we've done 2 Crystal Dungeons in the Dark World, and we still haven't gone to the Village of Outcasts. If you're really clever, sometimes you can skip doing the village, like, altogether. In this case, other than doing Thieves Town. But it is quite rare that you get to put it off.
Yeah. For sure, them at this stage just gave you that good possibility. See if they get to skip it completely. It seems a little bit unlikely, but not impossible.
And also interesting to see if they decide to go into escape while they're here.
Mm-hmm. So Pyramid had nothing, but the Pyramid Fairy had... Okay, Tempered Sword. It's a vanilla sword, but it's nice, but probably not what Hayfield was hoping for. But it looks like we are mirroring to get escape as well.
Ah, and Hayfield, I forgot this, did not do Uncle, whereas SirLinkalot checked Uncle at the very beginning. So this incentivizes this whole play for them. Now, from an efficiency perspective, you know, SirLinkalot could be thinking about setting up the same play, Pyramid Fairy, yada, yada, yada. Because if, from an efficiency perspective, if you get the mitts, then your route is that much more efficient for getting to do all those other mitts checks while you're in the area. However, they are overworld checks, so that can also take time. So depending on how SirLinkalot might feel like they need to gamble, they could just as well go to Village of Outcasts without going to the Pyramid Fairy. But if they feel like they want to be really efficient, they might go Pyramid Fairy first.
Yeah, it's those decisions that makes Randomizer really difficult sometimes.
Ooh, and a Bombos medallion, which could be our path inside Turtle Rock, but could also be our way inside Ice Palace, so could be required.
Yeah, that's an interesting find for sure. Speaking of efficiency, by the way, they both got that mushroom from Pod as well, so that might incentivize them a little bit to go up to Catfish, because they could turn in the mushroom on the way as well.
That is a very quick ball and chain guard kill when you have the Tempered Sword. How often do you see that in Escape?
Not putting up as much of resistance as usual. It's like when you play a game and you're like, oh, I'm just gonna lower the difficulty setting a little bit, and then all of a sudden you just like one-shot everything.
Yeah, where's our low percent stuff? Come on.
So Sir Link made sure to pick up the 3 pots with hearts before going to the back here, which not only is it going to have full health, which is good, because the helm sword can be a little bit rough sometimes, but it's going to have a sword beam, so it's going to save a menu here. It's just going to have to menu to the hammer once. Normally you would have to menu again to hit that block there, but with sword beams you don't have to worry about that.
Nice turtle rooms. So now Hayfield's going to show us some new stuff.
Yeah, he did opt to skip catfish for now, which means catfish is kind of isolated for quite some time now. There's not really a good moment to just head over there randomly. Except for maybe after doing the regular ledge. There's Helmosaur down for SirLink. And Hayfield is gonna head into Feaston. Both of our runners have, well, SirLink actually has 4 crystal dungeons now because he actually did Lamolas, which Hayfield is gonna have to go back to. And Meyer is a pendant, so he might actually end up having to run all the way back there later on.
Yeah, that is important to keep in mind. Like, SirLinkalot's, you know, honestly, oh my goodness, Fire Rod, and I don't know why I'm so pumped about that in Thieves Town. I mean, SirLinkalot's definitely going to find that as well. But you know what, though? There is a common play that used to be more popular where when you first get into the Dark World, the Village of Outcasts, you don't have the mitts, you would go to Skullwoods and check a little bit of that first before continuing on. If SirLinkalot did that, then they, you know, it might affect their route, having not picked up the Fire Rod first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, this Fire Rod, like already you had like an option of going north or south after Face Down. I think south would most of the times be more appealing for people because there's just like those checks are a little bit faster. But now with the Fire Rod, you can clear out Skullwoods as well. Maybe we're gonna see Hayfield head north and just go up into Skullwoods instead.
Oh, that'd be interesting. Yeah, kind of running out of crystals to do. SirLinkalot is doing the Super Bomb return. So we'll see if they decide to go do Escape as well. Now, they have a little bit less incentive to do it since they did do the Uncle. It's not quite as dense for them to choose to do this, but also it feels pretty scary, man, like leaving Escape to this late.
Mm-hmm. If they do skip it, we do know that Bombos is at least not going to be required for Ice Palace. Could still be required for Tartarok, however.
Oh, that's true. Picks up that Tempered Sword. Let's see what they do here.
Okay, it looks like we're skipping Escape, but we're gonna have the Catfish instead, so we got Divergence here. Could hurt both of the runners, or it could be beneficial for some of them. We're just gonna have to wait and see.
Catfish is a really very variant spot, so if you feel behind, it can be a really good place to check because it is one of those relatively early sphere locations that people tend to put off. Oh, but chaining it here with the mushroom turning.
Yeah, that's excellent moment of just chaining your items, locations in together. Just bombs there, but we do have money, so we can grab some potions as well. It's gonna be nice to have later on, because now you can play a little bit more aggressive in dungeons as well, because you do have that safety.
Hayfield just finding a piece of heart. So other than that Fire Rod, like not much progression in Thieves Town. Without those mitts, there's not a lot of places that we could go after finishing this these overworld checks and completing this Thieves Town dungeon. You know, there's a couple of pendants. Tower of Hera is not going to be one that you're going to think about going back to. There's one item there. So I got to imagine that Skull Woods would be at the top of each runner's mind. So still looking a little bit linear to me if we don't find anything else. Yeah.
We do have a couple of overall spots left as well. We did get that cape, so it's gonna be a little bit interesting seeing what's on the bumper ledge. And since we don't have the mitts, we can still check. Oh, never mind, we do have the mitts.
You liar!
That's planned, of course.
So still a cane and an ice rod at least to find. Maybe even that ether medallion if this is going to be a really nasty seed. And with that mitts, though, that's if you're a fan of SirLinkalot again, you want divergence. Mitts does open up more divergent possibilities here, quite a lot actually. So it being relatively on the route is good news for the closeness of this race. We don't find anything on the graveyard ledge, unfortunately.
Yeah, and okay, here we go. I thought I was gonna skip Kingston for a moment, but no, we're getting that as well, which Hayfield can do later without having to mirror there. He can just do it next time he's saving quits, but that means it's gonna orphan the graveyard ledge. We get our second bow. That's a nice find.
Yeah, at this point in the game, it's probably not going to save him too much time, especially with that Tempered Sword.
Always nice to have for Ganon, at least.
Yeah. Ooh, SirLinkalot. Okay, I thought he was going to go ahead into Skullwoods first. He still may.
Yeah, and I mean, heading into Skullwoods without the fire rod might not be bad. It's a pendant as long as the items are in the front. It looks like that's what we're doing. So we do have a bit of divergence here. Hayfield going for the Smith chain while SirLink is cleaning up the north side of the outcast here. When there's Arcano Samaria, that's a massive pickup for SirLink.
Oh, yeah, especially because Hayfield got the mitts first, so now there's a lot more open to them, including crystal dungeons they can complete like Ice Palace, whereas SirLinkalot got one more item closer to go mode because they didn't pick up that fire rod in those mitts.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier, how like finding progression first is not necessarily a positive thing. If it leads you into crystal dungeons, this way SirLink had a reason to go into a pendant.
And despite picking up the cane, still opts to use the statue here. I gotta think that's because they had it in their mind, you know, before they picked up the cane.
Yeah, that's fair. I might have done that a couple of times too. It's easy to do.
Yeah.
Forget you have the cane, especially when you just got it.
So clearing the front half, just finding a single item. Oh, looks like they're going to keep going. See if they can get that second item.
Wanted to make sure to have a key, I imagine, so it doesn't get like... There's a possibility that you could get locked here in Skullwoods now with the new advanced logic. Doesn't have to be a small key in that bumper pinball room anymore. So Hayfield is going to turn in the purple chest here, and this would be a good opportunity to go finish Desert, but we're saving quitting instead. Maybe we're going up the mountain. There's a fair number of chests we have open there now with the hook shot. We could go into Ice Palace as well. It's fully clearable. But it looks like we're going for the mountain. I wonder... No, actually, never mind. Hayfield won't have the opportunity to dive into Turtle Rock because they never picked up the cane.
Oh, that's true. Whereas SirLinkalot will have that option. So if they want to, like, you know, hard gamble, it's not even that hard of a gamble. But if you want to, like, try to find out if the Ice Rod is in Turtle Rock, then SirLinkalot will have that choice, whereas Hayfield does not. And also...
Sure. Yeah, go ahead.
Very well. I'll go ahead. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, right. Also, SirLinkalot now picking up the mitts. So once they finish Thieves Town, they could save a lot of time here by not doing the Smith Chain. at this point, once they finish these towning, when they pick up their fire rod, they know that they could be one item away from go mode, depending on what the Turtle Rock medallion is. So they could very well decide to save and quit and go check it, go check Hookshot Cave, all that. Those items are more dense in terms of items per minute anyway than this Smith Chain. I'm just theorizing what I want SirLinkalot to do to make this race a lot closer.
Yeah, for sure. Yo, Karen, you remember like 20, 30 minutes ago when you said like who wants Ice Rod Go mode?
Oh. Conkers. Oh, I didn't get to see what the medallion was. Could you see that?
That was a little bit too quick for me. Looks like Quake according to our tracker, so that's one that both of them have. So skipping Front of Escape ended up being good for SirLink, unless it's in Meyer and Bombus is required for Meyer.
Wow. So yeah, I hope you still have that Conkers pre-typed in chat, folks.
Also, I missed this when Hayfield was in Feast Time, but we had half magic as well, which is a nice pickup. It's like a really good safety and can make a lot of rooms that you're doing faster just because you don't have to worry about your magic usage.
So now at this point, there is a sequence break that is, well, not a sequence break, but a tech that can be really relevant if you're considering a T-Rock dive to get the Ice Rod, which is to save your mirror portal on the on Laser Bridge. Now, this is a fun tech, but it can be thwarted if you ever have to use your mirror again. But both players, I believe, if I'm counting correctly, have checked every single one of the mirror spot locations except for Checkerboard. So this tech could be really relevant for SirLinkalot.
Could you explain this tech for people who might not be aware of it?
Sure, yeah. So if you're in Turtle Rock, you leave at Laser Bridge. Let's say you didn't get the Ice Rod where you wanted it. You mirror from there and you go flute away, or do something else to get off the mountain. You go check other things. You could even re-enter the Dark World, and you can still save your mirror portal as long as you die in the Dark World overworld. It'll return you to the Light World with your mirror portal still there. So this tech is doesn't see a lot of use, but it's also not the most obscure tech. So I wouldn't be surprised if SirLinkalot is aware of it. So it can really incentivize you to go into Turtle Rock, Crystal Turtle Rock earlier if your go mode is Ice Rod, because it doesn't punish you as much if it's not in Turtle Rock.
It's going to be very interesting to see if that comes into play or not. Hayfield is going into Ice Palace, which I think makes a lot of sense. Unfortunately, it does make a lot of sense for Hayfield. But it means it's going to be skipping that cane or just that much longer. But I mean, there's also a possibility of finding Ice Rod here. Finding Ice Rod before cane could be a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, this could really go any direction, obviously, depending on where Ice Rod is, but that cane being in Pendant Skullwoods is a little scary.
Yeah, this race is super open right now. It was linear, but now, like, almost everything is on the table except for Meyer. If we find the flute, that would also be on the table as well, so... How crazy would it be if the Ice Rod is just like sitting on Moldarm and both of them skipped getting the second chest in Hera for so long?
I would imagine that they would both feel pretty behind if that happens.
Maybe. I mean, I think it's fair to assume from both runners' perspective that their counterpart probably skipped that second item too.
HayfieldBay getting that Ice Palace bomb jump on the second try here. Without that cane to Samaria, does have to do the Ice Palace bomb jump, but it's better anyway. It's more efficient in this scenario anyway when you're going to do a full clear.
Yeah, I think even if we had the cane, probably would have just went for the bomb jump anyways.
Yeah.
So here's some decision moments for SirLink. Looks like we're heading for the Smith sequence, so that's good for Hayfield. That means Hayfield didn't really lose any time doing all of these checks, and SirLink is doing them as well.
Yeah, it's hard, like, if you're thinking about going up the mountain to do Turtle Rock, it's hard to just, like, leave these spots behind, because, like, you imagine if Ice Rod is here and I won't go all the way up to Turtle Rock, just leaving it behind right here. Wrong blue item from HayfieldBay, just finding some bombs. Is that our first item here?
I was about to ask you that question, but I think
Oh, well
so.
then yes. Yes, it was our first item there.
When in doubt, just agree.
Yeah. I'm not agreeing with you because I doubt you, though. Just to clarify.
Yeah, you're agreeing because you doubt yourself.
Oh, thanks. Walter the Fourth, ladies and gentlemen. Gonna get an iced tea check for a piece of heart. So this will tell us whether or not our count is correct here if he continues to check chests.
Yeah, also went for iced tea before. No, actually, never mind. He actually did the. Never mind.
Yeah, it looks like there is an item missing since he's checking the big chest here. Just a compass, so the final item is going to be on Cold Stare.
Yep. Seems to work out in my math equation as well.
Without that flute, there aren't many more places for him to go. I mean, he does have Catfish, which he didn't check before. But other than that, I think Skullwoods is going to be an obvious next play. So going to be catching up to SirLinkalot's Cane advantage pretty soon here.
Yeah, that seems pretty likely. Especially since they still have like the rest of the overworld spots next to Skullwoods left as well.
So they've cleared a lot of this game at this point, and there's not much left to do that we haven't seen on one or the other side. Oh my god, that was a beautiful Cold Stare fight.
Yeah, really well executed. But nothing of value in Ice Palace. So
yeah,
that is something that could help SirLink if he decides to skip Ice Palace for now, could be able to go mode it later.
Yeah, I think it'll really come down to whether or not they do this, you know, searching for Ice Rod and Turtle Rock hunt play. We'll see where Hayfield goes, but I think it's pretty probable now that the Ice Rod is in Turtle Rock. You know, when you compare the other items, locations that we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, I think that sounds reasonable. Or at the very least, something leading to it. Hayfield's gonna pick up their silvers here.
Now I'm trying to figure out where SirLink is going.
I think we have an Ice Palace play here.
Ah.
By not saving and quitting, we get full health going in here. And Hayfield is gonna check that mushroom, which was really nothing. But might pick up some potions at the same time. Definitely got the rupees for it.
So now HayfieldBay doesn't have much choice but to go over check these overworld spots and do Skullwoods before, you know, continuing on to Turtle Rock. So it looks like he will be covering over, you know, some of the tracks that SirLinkalot's already done and give SirLinkalot a chance to catch up in that way.
Yeah.
This could be really close by the time they both go into Turtle Rock.
But also, SirLink only found one item in Skullwoods. Hayfield will have the option to full clear Skullwoods here.
Yeah, that'd be tough. Like, you know that there's basically 2 more items left by finishing the dungeon if you also turn in the green pendant. Like, do you just quit and hope that the ice rod's not back there?
Yeah, also could gamble to just go for the back right away, because the green pendant is like pretty much a guaranteed an item, and might hope that the other 2 items are in the back as well. And could actually do a pet check as well, which is still relevant, but not super, because we don't have the flute, so it's pretty unlikely at this point, but it could turn around to be that in worst case scenario. Best case scenario, depending if you're in chat or not.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Hayfield has skipped Catfish.
Yes.
So yeah, we didn't get that little bit of catch up that SirLinkalot would have enjoyed. But here's the moment of truth. Like, well, not this chest, but the chest after this one. Depending if he goes straight back and then reverse clears. I was gonna say a moment of truth once he picks up that Canis Maria, but this could be a reverse clear we're seeing.
Yeah, I think that honestly makes sense. You're just planning for the worst, that even if you get an item, you're gonna grab the green pendant as well. The small key kind of like a little bit incentivizes you to go to the front, but no, we're going all the way to the back, so we're gonna see what the second item is, and we're also gonna get the green pendant and probably a pet check as well.
Yeah, this is a huge swing moment in the race, because if Ice Rod's here, no way is SirLinkalot gonna come back and get it, right? If it's not here, gives SirLinkalot a chance to catch up.
Yeah, if it's here, I think SirLinkalot honestly just goes into Turtle Rock before. I think one of the reasons why SirLink has not gone up the mountain yet is like he only has 1 medallion, so the odds of him having the correct medallion for Turtle Rock is not like super high.
Yeah.
So that might have been like what played an extra. Like, also you have a crystal dungeon down here. It would be nice if you could save Turtle Rock as your last dungeon.
That's very true. Yeah, that's a really good point. Because if Ice Rod, SirLinkalot could still be hoping Ice Rod's in Turtle Rock, but just wanting to, save that other trip up the mountain by going ice first. Now, the other thing to remember is HayfieldBay still hasn't finished defeating Landmolus.
Yeah, it's starting to become more and more of an issue, honestly. It's not like the worst thing ever, but it's gonna be a time sink that could have opted out of. And SirLink did take a fall there trying to set up a bomb drone. Okay, decides to go up. I thought it was gonna just skip that item, which would have actually helped him, but doesn't want to leave anything for chance here. Pretty much knows it has to be an item. Nice Mothla fighter from Hayfield. Grabbing the green pendant. I don't think we saw the second item there.
It must have been there, because where else could it be, right?
Well, there's one more chest in the back, right? Or did he do that before the boss fight?
I thought he did that before.
Okay.
And it was like a key or something. Have a better defense in front of you. Well,
how much do you value a shield this late in the game?
Yeah, is getting the extra lag worth pulling the pet is the real question.
That's a good question.
SirLinkalot now making their way to Cold Stare just as Hayfield is about to find their Canis Maria, so pretty synced up actually, other than the fact that Hayfield hasn't yet done Desert. So, but SirLinkalot will probably check Hookshot Cave and Super Bunny Cave as well. So this is like very neck and neck.
Yeah, this could be really close. SirLink getting hit by the ice and unfortunately like sending some of those fire rod shots to the left and right, but with half magic that doesn't matter too much. We also had potions just in case. So for Hayfield, it would make sense to go beat Landmolus before heading up to Turtle Rock. Because if you're heading up to Turtle Rock, you're going up there to search for the Ice Rod. And if Ice Rod is there, you want to make sure that you don't have to climb the mountain a second time. Or
Ooh, but looks like he's
yet another time.
Looks like he's going back over some of his overworld skips though first. So
yeah, this could actually even be all the way to Catfish. This would be the last opportunity Hayfield really has to route in Catfish.
Yeah, so really avoiding that potential where Ice Rod is in Turtle Rock. I mean, on both runners' side, both really like not wanting that to be the case. And this is why that portal save tech on Laser Bridge can be so important. Because if you know that you can do that, you know that basically the only time you're losing by double dipping that dungeon is the time it takes you to climb the mountain. It can really prevent you from being in a situation where you last location Ice Rod and Turtle Rock, which when it's a crystal dungeon can be, very game changing.
Yeah, for sure. It's a pretty time consuming dungeon to go through. So turning the green pennant though, this could be something.
Yeah, I think this is the last item it really could be other than being Turtle Rock.
We have Hera as well.
Oh yeah, that's right, Hera.
But Hera is like, you definitely don't do Hera before Turtle Rock.
Oh god, no. Yeah, I'm definitely going to give SirLinkalot the edge here. Now, the the thing that could swing this game back, however, is if Flute is in Turtle Rock and Bombos opens up Mire.
Oh, yeah, that could be a real stinger.
If that's what happens, then SirLinkalot, I apologize in advance by saying it out loud.
But I mean, even if that's the case, I think they would still be kind of neck to neck, because Sir Link pretty much only has escape as his option after this, except for like the rest of the two items in Skullbos. So if he just goes for escape, they would probably just sync up at that moment.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, the benefits of having been really efficient in your overworld route. Like, the downside is if your opponent has played really aggressively and found stuff on the way, then you've lost a lot of time from that efficiency. But as you mentioned at the beginning of this match, like in a really long and drawn-out race, it really can come down to your routing efficiency.
So we're going to Turtle Rock, and Hayfield is going back to Desert, so I think that kind of gives us the telltale sign that Hayfield is going to head for Turtle Rock after this as well. First chest in Turtle Rock, arrows. Exactly what we were hoping for. No way, it wasn't.
Almost exactly. This is where I would normally say petition to make Ether freeze the Trinex head, but we don't even have Ether, so...
Ooh, that's a little bit rough. He could save this, but okay. I think he would have still had enough time without resetting. And no, yeah, we're gonna have to wait for this. I've never seen someone do this before. He's taking some extra spins around here. He's like in a roundabout, but he doesn't know how to get out.
I think I'm gonna throw
now
up.
we go.
Is anybody else getting dizzy?
So that's crystal number 6 for Hayfield. It's gonna head up to Turtle Rock. There's a big key, which would have been nice if this was a go mode Turtle Rock, but you can't really go mode it without the Ace round.
I mean, you could.
Also, that idea about Ether being able to beat Trinex, that would be kind of cool, to be honest.
I know, right? Come on.
You should also have the Bugnet be able to hurt Mothula, I think.
All right, that's it. Walter and I are tearing down Rando, and we're building a block throw here because they had some really bad chain chomp RNG. So that was like nice thinking on the fly. Like, okay, how do I get around this guy? Well done. Doesn't take any damage here. Hayfield now joining us in Turtle Rock. Find just a small key in the vanilla big key chest. So if there's a small key in the big chest as well, then even if you could have go moded it, you shouldn't have.
Yeah, that's interesting actually. So this is, by the way, game 3 between SirLink and Hayfield, which means that the winner here will advance to the next round in the group, but the loser is not out. They will still have another chance to progress in this group. So the winner of this match will face Pika Pals in the next round of matches, and the loser will face James FNX. So it's gonna be 2 really interesting matches.
Almost makes you want to lose the match, doesn't it? I mean, Pika Pals, jeez.
Yeah, that's a tough opponent for sure. SirLink going for Mimic Cave before the big chest. It's not a super big difference, but if Ice Road is in the big chest, it would have been faster to check this first. It wasn't, so it doesn't really matter. But that could have been a little bit of a time save potential.
Yeah, in this case, if you did that, it would actually have lost you time from having to do an extra screen transition. But yeah, but by and large, like if you're just looking for one item, I see a lot of people do that. And whatever it is, it's either going to be on Laser Bridge or it's going to be that last item in Tower of Hera.
Oh boy.
We're getting down there, folks.
Yeah. And I mean, both of these runners, if it's not on Laser Bridge, they're gonna be sweating because Hayfield still has Catfish left and SirLink still has Escape left as well. And those 2 items in Skullwoods.
Okay, if you get Powder on Laser Bridge, but no Flute or Ice Rod, do you go do Tower of Hera next before turning Powder in?
I think I would go Hera next, but
well, there it is.
We don't have to, because there's the Ice Rod. We even got the small key as well. So this gives a distinct lead now, for sure, to SirLinkalot. He has pretty much half a Turtle Rock ahead of Hayfield. That could change, searching for the big key. And it could also change climbing the tower as well in terms of execution. There's lots of potential ways to save and lose time in that gauntlet. Speaking of the big key, by the way, I think the big key bot is still down, but if you want to play anyways, feel free to do so after SirLink picks up the 7 crystal here. We're gonna do a little bit of a game. There's 22 locations in Gallus Tower where the big key could be. We want you to guess the correct one, so guess a number between 1 and 22. You can guess 24 as well if you want to be like Kern, but I wouldn't advise to do that. So feel free and play along.
But don't guess until the crystal drops, because then you lose the game before you even played it.
Oh, there's Butter's sword as well. Just for good measure, why not?
See, I can never guess 24 anymore because people guess 23.
Yeah. Also, there's a lot of people in here. I'm sure someone guessed 22. Noise. And if you don't understand the reference, Kern once won the Big Key guessing game by guessing 24, which is weird because there's not a 24th chest or even a 23rd one.
All right, tower is opening up at about 122.40, so we'll see when Hayfield enters here. Also, SirLink did the Trinex fight starting around 121.15, so let's take a look at our timers and see what the difference is. But yeah, the Big Key guessing, or the Big Key guessing game, the Big Key hunt could play a role here.
Okay, we got a small key, so means SirLink decides to go to the right side, which is pretty common nowadays. Tend to be like almost 50-50 way back, I felt like, but now I feel like this is just a common practice if you get a small key.
Yeah, it's the hot new thing. Like, if you want to be cool, then do this route, guys.
That doesn't even make sense. If you want to be cool, do something hot. Oh, there's a small key, which means we're gonna have a big key in this room. There we go.
Yeah, so the cool route does pay off this time.
Yeah, in random room and the compass room, if there is a small key in there, it's guaranteed that the big key will be there as well.
Unfortunately, it is not very useful key logic to know.
I mean, you can menu to the mirror in advance to look cool, look like you're a witch.
Yeah, that's true. It's style points wise, yeah, it's very important. Oh, that sword beam lag.
So Hayfield is definitely gonna have to go the same route here in order to have like a chance, it feels like, to catch up. And even still, it's gonna have to maybe hope for SirLink to do a couple of mistakes here in order to have some moments to catch up this time.
Yeah, SirLink just about 3 minutes ahead here of HayfieldBay. So, like, even a Ganon fall wouldn't be quite enough. But with gold sword, silver arrows, 13 hearts, blue mail, I gotta trust that SirLinkalot's gonna be just fine. Famous last words.
Yeah, got at least 2 blue potions as extra safeties as well. The big question marks are pretty much like falling to Moldorm is one way to lose time, but then Ganon is like the big time sink if you manage to like take a fall there, which we definitely don't hope was gonna happen to any runner, but it's definitely worth mentioning. That is a thing. Ooh, okay, Hayfield is not going to the right side. This is gonna be a giant time sink because he's gonna go the entire left side before getting that big key.
Yeah, there is a variation of a route that checks Hope Chests, then does Dark Magician, then comes back, does Compass, but like nobody does that route. But absolute weirdos, so this is probably gonna take them all the way to Ice Armos.
Yeah, it's killing the Stalfos as well, which is not indicating of a Dark Magician
Where's that
route.
Ether, though?
We can finally beat Trinex. And SirLink is just mowing down. Oh, there's a flute too. Cool stuff. But yeah, SirLink is really just like smashing through this this gauntlet. Onto Moldrum 2 already.
Yeah, that was pretty fast.
So we have an Agate 2 fight coming up, which it can be a little bit tricky sometimes. It's not hard to get through the fight, but it can be a little bit hard to do it fast. A free cycle would be really nice, but it's really hard to get lower than that. That's a good positioning for the first run, though. It's a double, which is good if you wanna. It's consistent if you're going for that free cycle. That's another double. We just barely missed that one. There we go. Agate 2 is down, and Ganon is our next prey.
SirLinkalot showing us that he is a man of rhythm. Ooh, HayfieldBay missed the bonk and almost got the D-boost off of the beetle there. If the beetle had run into him, it would have D-boosted him across the warp tile as well. Just gonna need 6 slashes on each phase of Ganon here for the first 2 phases.
Yeah, that's with the gold sword makes the 1-on-1 cycles on Ganon pretty much free for at least everyone in this tourney, I think.
So SirLinkalot getting an extra slash into that phase 2 there. I know some people do it to just take their frustration out, but it could be because sometimes it's hard to tell when the second phase actually starts. So you want to make sure you got all 6 slashes in, and like, why take the risk, you know?
I'm definitely taking my frustration out kind of guy.
Oh, we all know that about you, Walter.
Ooh, got some fire bat spawning here.
Oh no!
It's a bomb and almost died as well.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness!
Fortunately for SirLinkalot, he's still in a very good position here.
That almost triggered a major glitch, actually. That was very close.
Yeah.
If he had died as he was falling in the pit, then it was very close. If he had like been 1 heart shorter, then it would have triggered a major glitch.
Well, good thing we didn't do that.
Yeah. I think it would have maybe... I'm not exactly sure what it does if you leave the outdoors, but it could have made it so Ganon wouldn't spawn in the pit anymore. It despawns things. That's why it's major.
So would that have forced him to do a reset, or just save and quit?
You know, I can't say with 100% certainty because I never do that glitch intentionally. Well, that's not true, but I don't often do that glitch intentionally, so I'm not exactly sure what would have happened, but he might have had to... I want to say he would have been able to save and quit.
Well,
I think he would have been able to save.
Luckily, we don't have to worry about that. We're on to the second fight here. But it probably plays in a lot on SirLink's nerves now. It never feels good when you like almost last location your go mode and then take a fall again into like in a tournament setting in game 3. That's nerve-wracking for sure. Oof. This is a good setup for a double, maybe a triple even. Yeah, we got a triple.
Wow,
and
very
Ganon
nice triple.
is dead.
That makes up for the Ganon fall. I mean, in terms of style points.
Yeah, for sure. And we, as we mentioned earlier, this entire tournament is all about style.
Yeah, true fact I'm about to share with you. You actually get time taken off of your final time based off of your style points, and chat gets to decide. So everybody in chat, type in how many minutes Hayfield and SirLink gets to remove from their final finish time, and we'll see what the final result is. But actual SRL finish time for SirLinkalot, first place with 132.02 officially. Very good run.
Well, according to Shad, it was SirLink only finished the season with like 1 second, so that's got to be some kind of world record.
Yeah, let's see if we can get him here in the for an interview. HayfieldBay also making short work of this gauntlet, though. Ooh, right as I say that, of course, Calm Curse takes a fall.
And we're joined by SirLinkalot. GG's, dude. That was a very interesting race.
Yeah, my heart was pounding after the Ganon fall.
I can imagine.
For multiple reasons.
Yeah, were you aware of that potential for that major glitch we were talking about?
Yep, I was. That's why when I took the hit, I'm like, where did I go? I'm like, uh-oh, what's my health? And then I heard myself take the hug. I'm like, and I looked at my heart. So I'm like, okay, I'm at 1. I'm gonna fall. I'm okay.
Oh my goodness.
So do you know if you would have had to save and quit or reset if that happened?
No, I know if that would have happened, I would have had to do a hard reset. So I would have ended up back on Mountain before Turtle Rock.
Ooh, okay, well, luckily that didn't happen.
Oh my god. Yeah, thank everything that did not happen.
So what's your initial thoughts, you know, except for Ganon fight in terms of the seed?
Considering where everything was, it was really interesting because, like, I know I started in Hype Cave and I wasn't really like I usually start at Hype Cave if I have a hammer, just because it's 5 quick items, and then I'll usually just go to Village of Outcasts. But when it gave me flippers, I was just like, oh, I can do Swamp now while I'm here. It's like, well, sure, let's just do that. And then I was like looking at my crystal, I'm like, oh, Pod's 5/6, so I can do Pod while I'm here. And then I'm like, okay, and then I'll just like do an entire loop around the Dark World, starting from Fat Fairy, basically. But it was weird. It's just there was so many ways to route once you actually got to the Dark World that it's going to be kind of fun to look back. I'm guessing we probably had quite different routes, I'm guessing.
Well, it's interesting because I think that a big play that could have made a difference but didn't was to go into TR early, which you do see sometimes. But neither of you made that play, so it really came down to how efficiently you routed the overworld. And you happened to route the overworld in a lot more efficient of a way. I think that combined with the fact that you went to Skullwoods before picking up the mitts allowed you to get that cane so much earlier. But I think it really just came down to the efficiency of your routing. So like that's like a really common like key sanity kind of thing. Have you played a lot of key sanity before?
Yeah, I do a lot of kind of not necessarily just key sanity, but a lot of like cross keys. So I usually pay good attention to my routing, especially my overworld movement, to minimize it.
Yeah, that definitely paid off this run. Hayfield now taking out his frustration on Ganon.
Yeah, it was a very close race between both of you for the majority, I would say. You had a couple of moments when you diverged, but most of the times you like kind of synced up and just like did the opposites afterwards. So one of the reasons why I think Hayfield was a little bit ahead of you for the early game But he didn't kill Alan Mole as his first trip over there, which led him to have to like run all the way back there since the fluid was in Ganon's tower, as we found out later. So I think that was at least gave the influence that Hayfield was a bit ahead for a big part of the game.
Hayfield getting a nice double-double here. About to walk through the door. Official SRL time of 1:37.26. So very close race at the end there. And yeah, and GT route variants also played a big role in that finish time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's one of the
GG's
reasons. Oh yeah, GG's to him, but
oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say that's why. I mean, with the key, I went right first because I've already watched back our first two races and I saw he goes left. He'll check Hope Room and then go left first. So I was just like, I'll go right because if the key is right, it's gonna save me 2 to 3 minutes at that point. And I didn't feel bad about my routing or anything like I was behind, but the fact that I full cleared the overworld and then went to Turtle Rock had me a little worried. And then that skipping the one item in Hera, I got the hook shot and I was just like, yeah, I would just leave. I don't want to go to the basement just yet.
Yeah, okay, so that was an metagame call from the earlier matches. That's really interesting. That's one of the interesting things with doing like multiple 101s versus the same opponent. We're also joined by HayfieldBay. GG's, dude. Sorry about the loss.
Yeah, GG.
GG.
So how about this seed? It was something, eh?
Yeah, it was something. It was an okay seed. But I fell behind when I got my go mode item, which was the red cane. It was very accessible since it was in the front of Skull Woods. I felt that my only chance to win this race was if SirLinkalot did skip the left side swamp.
Yeah, I was curious about that. Finding that necessary Quake Medallion on left side swamp, like how that was playing into your mental game.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, the routing could be better, because I felt everything went okay until I got the mitts. Because my plan was to go to Skull Woods after Thieves Town, but I changed my mind to do the Smith chains instead. And after that, it took me a while to get the red cane in Skull Woods.
Yeah, we were actually theorizing about that you might go up to Skullwoods because you got the fire up, but then the myths just like kind of incentivize going south instead, and SirLinkalot managed to get the cane before the myths.
Mm-hmm. I'm always thinking about Skull Woods now, but this is random. You never know where the items are hidden.
Yeah, and good thing with this tourney as well is that this is not the end. You both have new opponents after this game. How are you both feeling about your new matchups?
I guess I will meet, is it James FNX?
Yeah.
Still have a chance to get through.
And SirLinkalot is up against Pika Pals in the winner bracket of the group.
Yeah, I'm excited to play against Pika Pals. I think it's going to be a good series. I'm excited to get it started.
Yeah, Peaky Pals being a finalist, I think, in many tournaments. I can't remember if he's won or not off the top of my but yeah, tough matchup, and wish you the best of luck there.
Yeah, and there is always the potential of you two actually facing off again later on in the group as well. So that's an interesting part with like double elimination groups is that you just might face your opponent like multiple times.
I thought about that. If he loses to Pika Pals, if I win to James, we are have another race again.
Yeah, and I think all three of your matches have been definitely close.
Are there any final thoughts that you two want to share about the seed or the upcoming next round of groups?
Oh, I'm just looking forward to the next matches, and hopefully it will turn out well. You never know.
Yeah, I'm excited about it because like last main tournament I could take part in was spring 2018, so it's been a while, and then I kind of got that was like right after I started Rando, like 3 months when I started playing it seriously. So I was kind of looking forward to this, and I made it out of qualifiers, so I'm excited to see how far I can take it on a main tournament now.
Well, very well played to the both of you. It was really fun to watch. Leads changed back and forth quite a lot. Yeah, thanks for putting on a good show. Any final thoughts from you, Walter?
Yeah, we want to make sure to actually give a shout out to our tracker, who's been doing a great job during this game, making sure everyone knows what's happening in the game. Iceman F1, and of course GG's to both our runners again. If you like what you see from them, feel free to head over to their Twitch page and give them a follow, where they do a lot of randomizers and probably other stuff too. And thanks to you, Karen, for doing this commentary with me. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a pleasure. And thanks, chat, for watching, and hope you stick around. I think there's going to be a lot more races today, and I don't have it pulled up in front of me, but you know what? I'm going to pull it up. I'm going to tell you where you should go now. I'm sure this channel will automatically do something, but just so you know what's going on today, so you don't have to look it up yourself. We've got at 7:15 Eastern on SG, so this channel is going to switch over to Solsky versus Dante. That's going to be a pretty hype matchup, so stick around for that. SG3, 15 minutes after that at 7:30 Eastern, we have Rywak versus Wall Kicks, also a very hype matchup. And then 8:20 Eastern, Weighty Words versus Bombachu Missile, and 10:20 Eastern, Trinex versus Imosaro. Jay Meacher versus F. Coughlin, 10:30 Eastern, Relkin versus Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuda at 10:30 on SG3. So a lot of matches still left to go today. This is like all rando all the time right now during this tournament season, especially during the group stages when there are so many matches happening, but a lot of fun matches coming up as well. So it sounds like if you just stick around on SG, then very soon we're going to be kicking this off with Solsky and Dante. So stick around. Thanks for watching, and have a good night.